أجيب مصدق مسيح الملاذ نسيق حسيب هدايا هو الناس نبي له ثان عزيز مبين هو المصطفى المختار وهو المعين نبوته قبل المرايا مجيد المجيد المرسل المنظم معلم الإقبال ببالي وإقبالي وفوزي بلا بكوني خليل المصطفى نسياني في السر والجاري بالمدد في قادم نويت رجال الرحمن في جنتي إلى غير نبي من ليس يسير نبال السوانات نبي الله والصبر وسيق إلى خير الذي يتكهن نار واحد البار عن العداد مراد نبي أجل الفساد عليه السلام نذاب من الله وسنة
my grandfather. Okay, as I told you, His Excellency, this will be a short discussion just about the life of Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba. A summarized story, which may be the work made by the organization Muqaddimat here, Khidma. And as I told you at the entrance, I have already composed a book on the history of Serigne Touba, a summarized one for intellectuals in the English-speaking world. I didn't know he would come here, but I have already composed this book on the life of Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba. His life, the circumstances that led him to create his movement, and the crisis, social, religious, economic, political, that made him create his movement, and the solution brought by Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba as a peacemaker. As you know, Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba was born at 1853, before Mahatma Gandhi, born in 1869, far before Martin Luther King, the black Muslim, Malcolm X. But Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba was an African leader, a Muslim following the doctrine of Maliki, as you may know, and was an Ash'ari in the Tawheed phase, the oneness of Allah. But he was the most illustrious servant of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet, as he named himself. This is just an introduction of Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba, who he was. He is the founder of the city of Touba. Among his names, Al-Abdul Khadim, Khadim Rasul, all the same meaning, the most illustrious servant of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba believed in the notion, the meaning of rendering service to all creatures for the sake of Allah. This is a globalized meaning, a globalized concept shared by all people in the world. They may be Americans, Mauritius people, African, or European. Then he was born in 1853 in the village of Mosquée, far from here, 7 kilometers in Senegal, as you know, West Africa. And as a tradition, he memorized the Holy Quran at a very, 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 very early age. And then he received an education in the different fields of Islamic sciences. And a huge and tremendous, extraordinary, if I can say, master of the Arabic language. It's a miracle. We can study on this many years, how he mastered the Arabic language in rhetoric, in grammar, in all fields. But the most miraculous, he wrote many, many books, evaluated in 7 tons, 7,000 kilograms in the 1980s. And the studies must be updated now. And with this, great poems dedicated to his beloved Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam. And when he came here in Senegal in the 1890s, the society of Senegal was experiencing crisis on multiple levels: social, religious, economic, and cultural. And at the time, the colonial authorities were executing their plans to annex the territory of Senegal, the colonization. And at this critical time in Senegalese history, Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba believed that the most valuable struggle against colonization was how strong you could keep your identity. You see me, my African clothes. I'm graduate in the University of Sorbonne with a Master 2 of International Trade and Marketing. And then I entered in the University of Sibdeco with a Management Marketing. And then I graduated in the University of Cesac with a diploma of Chinese language as a beginner. But I'm keeping my identity. I can speak with all people, with all levels of intellect, but I keep my identity. That was the struggle of Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba. You see, Serigne Mamor, he is making a great work in diplomacy. But you will know that he is a grandson of Khadim Rasul. He is keeping his identity. But he is spreading the knowledge. He is spreading the path of his grandfather, Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba. Then, Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba he wanted to make his followers believe in their hidden abilities and rely on their own sources. As Americans say, sources. But me, as British, referring to the British language, I will say sources. Then, to Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba, the tremendous goal of resistance against oppression could only be achieved through seeking knowledge and hard work. Pay. Seeking knowledge and hard work. But the difference may be with the Occident is for the only sake of Allah. And Allah will pay, will reward us tremendously, endlessly, permanently. Maybe the only difference, if I can say this. Hard work, knowledge for the sake of Allah. Can be summarized in belief in Allah. Then Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba conviction was the reason he said in one of his qasaid, Allah is my witness. I am a servant of Muhammad, my means of access to my Lord. And my spiritual weapons against the colonial authorities will be dedicated to spread knowledge through piety, meaning spiritual education, by sticking to my identity. Then, this is a draft. It will be published later in a very designed book, but especially for you, His Excellency. Among these objectives, rapidly, the objective of the movement of Muridism is to reform all aspects of society. Muridism is not worshipping Allah, making rakah only, no. Reform all aspects of society, religious, social, cultural, and economic, to be in accordance with Islam. We have among the principles of Khadim Rasul 12, but I can just cite 3 or 4. The first one, all of us will feel in this. One must have a clean heart, try to do and say good things at all times. It is shared. It isn't? One should work hard in following the guidance of Islam, which provides goodness to the human being. Thirdly, follow only the Holy Quran, the permanent law from Allah, the tradition of Muhammad, who predicated many scientific proofs, and what Muslim scholars agree on, al-ijma, and be far from what is not related to the teachings of Islam, accept what is permitted to us and avoid what is forbidden for us by Allah and is for our interest, and the like. Maybe we'll have the time to read it. And with this Islamic principle, Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba began to grow his movement. And he created villages to help him better educate those enrolled in the movement. Among them, the village of Darus Salam, the house of peace, meaning the house of peace. Touba, the city of permanent happiness. Darul Halim al-Khabir, the house of the all-knowing, the city of Serigne Mamour, where many followers, many sons, daughters of Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba learned the Quran and Islamic science there. Darul Mannan, the village of the one who showers his blessings on his creatures. And, by the way, disciples emerged from many parts of Senegal because it's their interest. Because with a new educational system and his personal character. And at the time, we had a great influence on Senegalese society. It's Salat. Then, it was just a summary of the life of Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba. As you are our guest, you can make yourself as in your family, and then maybe after Salat we will visit some other place, inshallah. And all this is for you. Thank you. As I mentioned before, the organization of this mosque is entrusted to an organization named Muqaddamatul Khidma. Muqaddamatul Khidma means the introduction of my service to my beloved one. And Serigne Saleh was son of Serigne Touba, gave them this name, and they are in charge of the organizing of this mosque, organizing conferences here, and training imams and muezzin, and many other activities here. They're in charge of all the mosque, cleaning, repairing, all. And me, I can say I'm a member, but I'm an intellectual who giving services for all. Thank you.
Non, vraiment, merci beaucoup. Oh, merci. Vraiment, merci. C'est gentil.
Ah, micro.
Et,
Micro.
je vais le lire avec énormément d'intérêt et de gratitude. Merci. Oh, merci beaucoup. Et merci beaucoup pour le cadeau de ce livre extraordinaire. Je vais le lire avec intérêt et beaucoup de gratitude et partager avec mes collègues de la maison. C'est vraiment important de partager cette histoire, n'est-ce pas? Et malheureusement, le monde anglophone est moins au courant de cette histoire que les autres parties du monde. Et c'est quelque chose que nous pouvons résoudre ensemble avec le soutien de le livre extraordinaire que vous avez préparé. Mais plus important du fait que vous avez prolongé et amplifié l'histoire de Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba, vous avez assuré son influence continue, n'est-ce pas? Et c'est vraiment ça qui va changer la vie et changer le monde. Et si tout le monde peut suivre les préceptes de Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba, ça va résoudre tous les problèmes du monde, tout simplement. Donc, et c'est vraiment une histoire, un héritage que nous devons partager. Donc, merci infiniment pour la présentation, pour le livre et pour tout ce que vous faites. Merci beaucoup.
لبث ثياب المجد والبل والمنى وفيك من الأقلام لقيت من الأعداء ما ألم على أنك الليل لمن جاء يبغي منك نيلا متى يا بغي لمن قالوا وجل لكم ذو تجر عذاب ذليل لك الدار أبقي من إلهي عليك ما تدري على الله من يخاف بالمصطفى توكلت على بمن لا عليه بما ديرات لأبي البيئة على المصطفى